Hi players, bonjour from Paris. My name is Asaf Hirsch and welcome to my channel Easy Board Games. Today I'm having for you an explanatory playthrough / tutorials of Revive. With me, as always, I have Mr. Shwet, so we're going to have a two-player game for you. As always, if you learned something new, if you saw something that you like, please subscribe to my channel, like and leave me a comment. And without further ado, let's go play. Alright, so as you probably noticed right now on your screen, we have the main board and we have my playing area. Mr. Shwet, who is going to be the other player, the second one, is actually off the frame, and every time I need to show which action he's going to do, I'm going to show it on the screen just like this. On the other side, also outside of the frame, over here in this area, we have all the display. So it means all the tokens for the machine or the modules. We have also the crates and we have the citizen cards. So the first player, which is going to be me, is actually starting with one resource, which is over here, the crystal. So basically it's the game's way to say, okay, you have whichever other resource that you want, since as we remember, as a free action, we can take one crystal and make whatever we want from it, either a gear, a book, or food. The second player, again, Mr. Shwet, has one crystal and also one gear, which is like the resource right next to it. If we had a third player, he would have had one crystal, one gear, and one book. And as you already guessed it, if we had the fourth player, he would have had one crystal, one gear, one book, and one food, just to even things a little bit up. So again, this is an explanatory playthrough. We're not going to see a full from A to Z playthrough, but in any case, we're going to touch all the options and everything that is possible to do in this game. We're going to see it in this video. Let's get started with my turn. And the first action that I would like to do, I would actually like to play this citizen card and actually gain from it the module token. So again, I would like to play this card, and as you can see on the bottom part of it, we have this symbol of a module token, and I'm going to play it. So first of all, right over here, I'm going to take one of these cubes and going to put it over here. So it's going to remind me that I already did a first action. And I'm going to play it over here at the bottom part of the machine, and it's going to earn for me one module token. So as you can see here in the display, there are actually a couple of options. So let's go from right to left. We have an option for crystal. Then on the left, we're going to have the food and then the two gears and then two tokens of food, that the only difference is actually the colors on them. So I'm actually going to take the food token. Okay, so I'm going to take right over here, this one. And I'm going to put it, let's see, where do I want to put it over here? Now, just as a reminder, if I take this module and I put it in one of the slots with the green V on it, I'm going to receive this bonus immediately, okay? So since the next card that I would like to play, I would like to play the upper part of it, I would like to take the bonus already. So I'm going to put the module right over here. So since again, I've put it on the green V mark, I'm going to receive immediately one food. So that was the first action that I did. And for the second action, I'm actually going to do the same thing. So I'm going to put the second dice to mark that I'm doing right now my second action. I'm going to take this card right over here, and I'm going to play the upper part of it. So it means one food and one book. So pay attention, I'm going to play the card over here in this area, just like this. So first of all, the citizen card is being activated. So immediately I'm getting one food and one book. Oh, I'm so sorry, I did a mistake. I actually advanced one of the gears, so let me correct that. So now again, I'm going to receive from this card one food and one book. And also, since I actually put it in a place that has a module token on it. I'm going to, and pay attention, of course, that on this module we have two colors. We have the gray and we have the yellow, and I've played a yellow card. That means that I'm actually activating this token also. So on top of what I've received from the citizen card, I'm actually also activating this module, which means that I'm receiving another food. Just a quick reminder, the moment that I've taken the module, okay, from the display, immediately I have to put a new module token from the supply in the display. Okay, so moving on to Mr. Shwet's turn, let's take a look on his board and see what he would like to do. So the first thing that Mr. Shwet is thinking about is actually building a building. So in order for him to do that, he knows that for a small building, he will need 3 gears. He already has 1 crystal and 1 gear. That means that he needs 1 more gear for that. Now, as you can see on the rightmost card of his active area, he has the gray card that has the gear sign on it, on the top part of it. So he will do exactly that. He's going to play a card. So let's put the first cube just to make sure that we know that Mr. Shwet did his first move. Mr. Shwet is putting the gray card on the top part of his machine in order to get that bonus. He's also advancing his gear and his food markers 1 step forward. And the next action he would like to do is to build this building. So again, let's put the second cube on this action, so we know that he did his second action and which one it was. So what Mr. Shwet is actually now doing is using his free action, which is trading, in order to convert 1 crystal into 1 gear. So the crystal marker will go 1 step down and the gear marker will go 1 step up. And of course now he will pay for the building, which cost 3 gears, and we'll take the top building on his tribe board and we'll place it right here on the main board. So let's see which kind of options Mr. Shwet has. Let's try to do a little bit of focus over here and see what's going on. So as we remember, when we want to build something or populate or discover, we need to make sure that we're considering the range also, okay? So every time we want to do an action, we need to see how many hexagons, these small shapes over here, are the distance between either the chasm in the beginning of the game, and after we put at least 1 building or 1 population, we're going to count the distance from that figure. So again, this is the beginning of the game. We have nothing on the board. So we're going to start counting the distance right here from the chasm. And since Mr. Shwet has now 0 resources, it means that he has to put his building over here in the first circle, let's say, around the chasm. So now we want to see what is the best benefits that he can get. As you can see also, if we're going to put the building over here, for example, Mr. Shwet is going to receive nothing. So let's move to where he actually can get the best of it. So we have 2 options. The first one will be over here in this hexagon, which will give him the possibility to advance his yellow machine marker 1 step forward. And also he will be able to profit from this water resource and get 1 module token. The second option that he has is to put the building right over here, which will allow him basically to advance all of his machine markers 1 step forward. So to be honest, I think that we should do exactly that, or it's supposed to be Mr. Shwet's choice. He's going to put his building right over here, and he's going to advance all of his markers 1 step forward. Let's see what does he do. The first thing that is going to happen is actually we're going to reveal all the 3 first bonuses, since if you can see right here, from each circle, let's call it like this, from each bonus, we have only 1 line, which means that we have only 1 criteria to open it, and this is actually advancing each one of them to number 2. So each light bluish kind of token that we took off from the machine is actually going to go to the left side of our machine and cover the victory points that are going to be added up at the end of the game. So the first one will go right over here to the first position, the second one to the second, the third one to the third, and so on and so forth as we go on with the game. So let's go over the few symbols that we have uncovered here. Okay, the first one on the yellow track, we see this satellite dish-y or something like that with a +1, which means that we have range of +1 when we'll activate the machine. Okay, as a reminder, activating the machine is actually a free action that we can do just by paying the temporary cost with this lightning token. So it means that in one of Mr. Schwetz's next actions, when he will need to count the range, if the range, for example, will be 1, he will actually be able to do it for free. Okay, so it's 1 minus 1, and it means that he will not need to pay any kind of food. If it will be a range of 2, he will activate this option. The range will be only 1, so he will need only to pay 1 food, and so on. I think you understood it. On the gray track, we actually can see that we have this symbol that signifies one of the 3 resources, the gear, the book, or the food, and with this arrow to crystal. So basically what it means that we can take any one of the resources and convert it to a crystal. The third option that we revealed on the green track is this symbol. And this means actually that we can take one of the cards in our machine that we already played and we can discard it. It means that we're going to take this card and put it in our resting area. Now, of course, in the first or maybe second turn, it doesn't give us so much. But in more advanced turns, when actually our machine is starting to be a little bit cramped, okay, there are going to be many cards, it's going to help us to push it a little bit further and play one more card at least. And with that, we concluded Mr. Schwetz's first turn. So moving on to my second turn, I think I would like to do the action of populate. Now, just as a reminder, we can populate only on this kind of hexagons, okay, with this ruined city kind of photo on. So in order for me to populate over here, I need to see what is it going to cost for me. So if we take a look over here at our tribal board, we see that to populate the first figure, to populate with the first figure, sorry, it's going to cost me 2 books. So when we're looking at the machine tableau over there, I see that I have 1 book, but I also have 1 crystal that with a free action of trading, I can convert 1 crystal to 1 book. With this, I'm going to have 2 books. So with that, we're cool. Let's do it right now. There you go. We did the free action of trading, and now we can actually populate. So first of all, let's put the dice over here to mark that we did already 1 action and it's going to be the populate one. And now when I'm looking over here, I see that the range is actually 1 because between the chasm and this ruined city, we have 1 hexagon, 1 free hexagon. So the range is 1, which means that I will need to pay 1 food in order to populate. So I'm going to pay this food right now. And then I'm going to populate. So I'm taking this meeple right here from my tribe tableau. I'm going to pay the 2 books. And I'm going to put this meeple right over here. Now you can ask me, Asaf, why the fluff would you like to populate? What does it give you? So it gives me a couple of things. The first thing that it gives me is that now I'm able to do this thing all the time. Okay, it's like another special ability that my tribe has. In this case, it means that I can take 2 resources, doesn't matter which ones, can be the gear, can be the book or the food, and I can convert 2 of those to 1 crystal. The second thing that it gave me is that actually that now I'm a bit closer to all of the tiles over here. So when I need the next time to calculate to count actually the range, it will start from the meeple. So just as a reminder, the moment that you have a figure on the board, doesn't matter if it's a population figure or a building, every time that we will need to count our range, it's going to be from that figure. If we have a couple of figures, it will be from the figure of our choosing. So that was the first thing that we did. And now we're going to move to the second action. The second action that I would like to do is to explore this tile right over here. So we see that in order for us to explore it, first of all, the price on the tile is marked over there, and that is 2 food, as you can see right over here. Also, because the range is 0 between the meeple figure over here and the tile, it means that I don't need to add any more food to this cost, because again, the range is 0. So let's pay the cost of 2 food. And now we can flip this tile and see what we get from there. Before we're going to flip it, first of all, it is marked over here 1 victory point that we're going to take right now. So pay attention over here. I'm the yellow, I'm going to advance to have 1 victory point. And also it gives me the opportunity to recruit one of the citizens from the display. So let's see, before we're flipping the tile, what do we have on the display and which citizen I would recruit. Okay, so right now you're seeing a few cards, and let's see a little bit the differences, because we have a few new icons on them. So as you can see, for example, the card on the far left at the top row, we have this kind of shape over here. This means that on top of this card, after I played this card into my machine, I can actually play on top of it another card, okay, which will activate the first card, the new card that I've put, this card that is already in the machine, and if we have a module token, it will be activated also. So this is not a bad opportunity, especially because I already have a module token right over here with the yellow, with the color of yellow. Another thing that we have that might be new is the middle card over here at the top row. And if you can see, we have at the top part of it, we have like a green card, and at the bottom, a gray card. And this basically means that after I've played this card, on top of the bonus in both up and down, it's going to be 1 food. I will be able to play immediately another card. If I played it to the upper part, it will be a green card. And if it's in the bottom part, I will be able to play another gray card immediately. So I think that I will take actually this card at the top left row. So I will be able to play immediately another card on top of it. So I'm going to put it immediately in my active area. And after that, I'm replenishing again the display of the citizens. So that means actually to draw another card and put it in the display. So now our new display will look like this. So we finished everything that we have right here on the tile, and now we can flip it. So after the small earthquake that I created over here, we're able to put the tile like this, or on the other side like this. I don't think it makes for now too much of a difference, so let's continue and decide to put it just like this. Great, and of course I forgot to put the dice, so our second action was to explore. So that was my second action. I finished my turn, and now it's going to be Mr. Schwed's turn. All right, so Mr. Schwed actually is a little bit of jealous, and he would like actually to do an explore action also. As you can see right now at his machine tableau, he actually has 0 resources, okay? So he's not able to do actually anything before he's getting some resources. So the first thing that he would like to do, the first action, is to play a card. Mr. Schwed decides to play this yellow card and to receive for it 2 food. Now let's take a look on an interesting thing, how we're using the machine itself. In order for Mr. Schwed to explore this tile right over here, he will need to pay first of all the cost of the tile, which is 2 food. but also he will need to pay for his range. So as you remember, once we have a figure, doesn't matter, a building or population on the board, we're going to count our range immediately from that figure. Since this building is the only figure that Mr. Schwett has on the board, we will count the range from this one. So the range between this building and this tile is 1, right? We have one space between this building and this tile. So he actually needs to pay 1 food, but he only has 2 food, which is the cost for this tile. So he will be able to activate his machine with this lightning token. So as a free action, he can activate it. He's going to put the lightning token on the ability that he would like to activate, which is this one. If you remember, this actually gives us a free 1 range with no cost. Of course, that's the meaning of free. Asaf, thank you very much for the lesson in English. So because the range over here is 1, he's actually doesn't need to pay anything. What gives him the opportunity to, first of all, advance his meeple 1 step forward in the score track, so 1 victory point for him also. And he can recruit another citizen card to his active area. Mr. Schwett decides that he's wanting to build another building, so he's deciding to take this card, which will give him later a 2 gear. Immediately after that, Mr. Schwett is going to take a new citizen card from the deck into the display, and now he can flip this tile. Oh my god, this is, I swear to god, this is the most difficult mission over here in this game, is to flip these tiles. So he can flip this tile and decide if it's going to be like this or like this. Again, this is an explanatory playthrough, so it doesn't really matter right now strategy-wise. So let's just put it over here like this. So, as we said, the first action was to play a card, the second one was to explore, and that concludes the second turn of Mr. Schwett. Alright guys, so we're moving on to my next turn. I see that the amount of things that I can do is pretty much limited. So I think that hibernation is going to come pretty much soon, but we'll talk about it in a few minutes. So the first action that I would like to do, and let me mark it already with 1 dice, is to activate the switch that I have over here on my machine. So I can just take it down over here just to mark that I have used it. So now the red light appears over here. And that means that I can take any resource, one of any resource. So either 1 gear, 1 book, or 1 food. And I do think that I should have a building sooner rather than later. Then let me take 1 gear. The second thing that I would like to do is to play a card. I'm going to take this gray card over here. And as you can see, we have 2 things that we can do. We can either, on the upper part, play it to gain 2 gear, or on the bottom part, and actually this symbol means that we get to activate our special tribe ability, let's say. So in my case specifically, it says gain 1 resource of your choosing from each adjacent water. But since I don't have any kind of water right next to my, oops, let's not knock things off the table. So since I don't have anything, any water source around my population or my building, I will not be able to use it. But if I would have used it, I would have taken one of these light blue tokens and put it right here on the victory point counter, sorry, that will be added to my victory points at the end of the game. So back to what I'm going to do, playing a card, and I'm going to put it right over here to gain 2 gears. And that's it. That was my turn. Mr. Schwett understands that the amount of things that he can do on his turn is pretty much limited, but he would like to do 2 more actions before going to hibernation. So let's take a look. The first action that he would like to do is playing a card. Now, let's see which card he would like to play. We have 2 options. We have the yellow card and the gray one. Looking at his machine, we see that we have only 2 slots open to play a card, and that is the two bottom slots, which means that he can play only for the bottom part a bonus on each card. Now the yellow card has the ability to actually exchange, to do a trade for resources, so we can give any kind of resource that we have in order to get any resource that we would like, and we can do this 3 times. This is not so interesting right now for Mr. Shwet. The other possibility that we have with the gray card is to advance the machine token, the gray one step forward. So this is exactly what he's going to do. He's going to play the gray card, and he's advancing his gray machine token 1 step forward to number 3. Now let's take a closer look on this action. After Mr. Shwet advances his gray machine token 1 step forward, we're not going to reveal this reward space, because if you take a closer look on this reward space, we have the number 3, the gray one. Okay, so we reach to this, there is no problem, but it is also connected to the yellow number 7 track. So we're going to be able to reveal this space reward only when we're going to reach with our yellow machine token to this number 7. The second action for Mr. Shwet would be to move this switch. Okay, so exactly like I did on my turn. He's going to move his switch, and he's going to take 1 gear. And that concludes Mr. Shwet's turn, and back to me. So looking at all the possibilities that I have on my turn, I think that I would actually like to not do anything. And that means, if you remember, if I don't want to do anything, or if I can't do anything, any action, I need to do something that's called hibernation. So let's take a look on that. It's a small procedure, very easy to follow. So over here, if you can see on the card, on the right side, we have exactly the things that we need to do. So let's look over the iconography. The first thing that we have is to take out all the cards from the slots in the machine. Great, we did it, and we're going to put it in our resting area. Next to it, we need to take the cards that we had in the resting area and put it in our active area. So we did right that, and let's not forget to take the cards that were in the slots before and put it in the resting area. Next, we're going to take the switch up again, so we know that the next round we can use it over here. After that, if we have activated one of the special space rewards places in the machine, if we activated it, we're going to take this lightning token and put it back in the center of the machine, so we'll know that we can use it again later on. Since of course we didn't do anything here, I'm skipping that. And the last thing is to advance on the hibernation track 1 step forward. So I advanced 1 step forward, and I'm allowed to take the bonus that is marked right next to it. In this case, it's going to be this slot module. And just as a reminder, the next time I'm going to hibernate and going to reach the second level, the second bonus, I can either take this bonus, okay, which is 1 victory point and 1 crystal, or I can choose one of the bonuses below it. In this case, I think that I will take one of the slot modules, because this is, to be honest, a very good way to build our tableau. Looking at the cards that I just received from my resting area, I have 2 green cards and 1 gray card. So I think I'm going to choose this slot module with a crystal. I'm going to put it right over here at the bottom part of my machine, and since I covered the green V, I'm going to advance the crystal counter on my machine 1 step forward. And that's it, I finished the hibernation. And before I forget, I need to replenish the module display with 1 more slot module. There you go, and back to Mr. Shwet. As expected, Mr. Shwet is also going to do the hibernation action, which means that he's going to take all his cards from the machine slots, take them out, put them in the resting area, and the cards that were in the resting area we're going to put in the active area. Also, we're going to take the energy token back to the middle of the machine to let us know that we can use it again. and the switch we're going to take from the green light back to the red light for the same thing. And Mr. Shwet also is going to advance his meeple over there on the hibernation track. Voila, one step forward, and he's going to take a slot module as well. Seeing that he has also 2 green cards, he's going to take one slot module with the green color. In this case, it doesn't really matter, it's going to be another book. And of course, don't forget that the moment that you have taken the slot module, you're going to replenish it with a new one. So just like me, Mr. Shwet is going to put this slot module on one of the places with a green V, and he's going to take this bonus, which means the book, immediately. Okay, back to me, guys, because I really want to show you a few more things. I might do some actions that will seem a little bit not with a lot of logic, but in any case, it's really something that I would like to show you. So the first thing that I would do is playing a card. So let's already mark it with one of the dice over here. So I'm going to play a card, and I'm going to put this card, the green one, over here at the bottom part of my machine, okay? So, placing it over here, and as you already know, since this is a green card and here we have a green slot token, I'm going to receive the bonus immediately. So I received 1 crystal. And now I have the option to do a trade in a very good ratio. Okay, this is 1 for 1. So I'm going to be able to replace 3 resources that I have for 3 resources that I would like. So let's do it. So I gave away 2 gears, and for those 2 gears I'm going to take 1 book and 1 food. Perfect. So that was the first action that I did, and the second one is actually again to play another card. So let's mark it again with the second dice. So we know that we did the 2 actions. So the card that I'm going to play is going to be this citizen right over here. And I'm going to play it for this bonus. So I will need to put it at the bottom part of my machine, just like this. And what it says actually is get rid of 1 food, 1 gear, and 1 book to gain 4 victory points. So let's do it. So after I gave away the 3 resources, I'm going to take 4 victory points. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is actually what I wanted to show you. So over here on this side of the victory point tracker, we have a few bonuses along the way. So every time a player reaches one of those waypoints, let's say, he's going to receive the bonus that is marked next to it. In this case, it's either going to be 1 crate that we're randomly taking from the supply, or it's going to be 1 big artifact over here that we'll talk about in a few more moments. So since I reached this bonus, I'm going to take 1 random crate. So here we have the supply, and I'm just going to choose one, doesn't matter which one, and I'm going to put it in my playing area. And as a reminder, opening one of these crates is actually a free action. So we can do it before we've started to take actions, during, after, doesn't matter. As long as it's our turn, we're able to open one of those crates. So let's open it. Okay, we're going to turn it around, and we can see that we have received 1 victory point and 1 crystal, which is, to be honest, not so bad at all. So 1 victory point, and over here, we're going to take 1 more crystal. Now, basically, these crates, it's not like they're worth anything later on, but in some cards, okay, at the end of the game, they will say that for each crate that you have taken, you're going to receive more victory points. So for that matter, we can just put it aside. And that concludes my turn after taking 2 actions, which were to play 2 cards. Back to Mr. Shwet. Since Mr. Shwet would like for you to learn as much as possible from this explanatory playthrough, he would also do some things that may not seem the most logical, but it's important for you guys to see it. So the first thing that he would like to do is to play a card. If we can look at his active area, he's going to take this card and going to play for the bottom part bonus that he will receive. So he's going to put it in this slot. And as you can see, we have two options. The left one is to place, to take another module, another slot module from the display, but he's actually going to use the other one. So iconography wise, this is actually going to activate the tribe's special ability. And in this case, what happens is Mr. Shwet will pay 1 food in order for him to get 2 victory points. So here we go, he paid the 1 food and he's advancing 2 victory points. Another thing that we should remember is that every time we're going to activate our tribe special ability, we're going to take one of these light blue tokens and we're going to put it over here at the victory point tracker on the left part of our machine. So Mr. Shwet is going to take this one. He's going to cover the lowest visible victory point marker that he has. So it's going to be number 3. So if you pay close attention, next to this number 3 of the victory points, we have also an energy token symbol. So it's another, actually a bonus that we're going to receive, just like we have over here at this victory point tracker. So I received, for example, the crate last turn. And Mr. Shwet, since he covered this number 3 victory point and this energy token, he's going to receive 1 more energy token from the supply, and he's going to put it at the center of his machine. So if you can see right here, he's going to have 2 energy tokens, and that means that he can activate his machine 2 times. Again, as a reminder, activating the machine is a free action, okay? We can do it at any time. As the second action of his turn, Mr. Shwet is going to play another card. So let's take a look again at the active area. Mr. Shwet is going to choose this green card, and this time he actually wants to play it for the upper part bonus. So he's going to put it over here in this slot of the machine, and he's going to take the bonus, which is 1 gear and 1 book. So let's advance those 2 markers also in his machine, just like this. And that concludes Mr. Shwet's turn. Now going back to my turn, I would like to do 2 things. So first of all, I would like to play this card from my active area. Okay, as you can see here, this is a gray card, and I'm going to play it for the upper part bonus, which is 1 gear and 1 food. I'm going to put it right here at the upper part of my machine, which means that I'm going to also activate this slot module, okay, since it has the gray color over here, and the card itself is also gray. So immediately when I put it, I'm going to receive 1 food for the slot module, 1 food for the car, and 1 gear. Let's take it right now. That was the first action, so let me mark it right here. We have played a card. The second thing that I would like to do is I would like to explore. So let's see how that goes. I'm going to put the dice right over here to see that to show that I have did my second action, and I want to explore this tile right over here. So as you can see, it costs 5 food, okay, to discover it, plus any kind of range that I have. Now, if you remember, since I already have a figure on the board, the range is going to be counted from that figure. So obviously here the range is 0 because it is just adjacent to it. So let's pay all the food. As you can see on the resource on the resource track, I have 2 food, and I'm going to pay the rest of the 3 food with the crystal. If you remember, it's like a free trading action. So I've paid the 2 food and the 3 crystals. Basically, it's like I converted the crystals into food, okay? And then I immediately spend all the food. So it's pretty much the same. After that, I'm going to take as a bonus, first of all, the 5 victory points. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I've hit another waypoint marker, okay? That means that I'm going to take another crate. So I'm going to the supply, I'm going to take a crate by random, and as again a free action, let's open it immediately, and I see that I have received a slot module. So let's put that aside, and I will would like to choose maybe this one over here, so I can build some buildings later on. So if you can see, I've taken the slot module with the 2 gears. I'm going to put it exactly here at this part of the machine. That means that I'm going to take 2 gears immediately. And again, as you can see, this sign right over here means that I'm getting the opportunity to draft a citizen card from the display. So let's take one right now. So I've decided to draft this citizen card for a few reasons. First of all, this is a gray card, which corresponds with the gray slot module that we have just put in our machine. And also, if you can see this sign right over here, this mark, it means that if I'm going to play on top of it, first of all, it means that I can play on top of this one, again, a card, okay? It doesn't matter which color. But if I'm going to play on top of it a gray card, again, that I'm going to activate this card one more time, and of course the slot module also. So this card was just drafted by me. I'm going to put it in my active area. And now I can actually reveal the tile that I have discovered. So we're going to put it on the other side to show it. We can either put it just like this or like this. I'm going to choose to put it like this. Now the reason for that is that I'm going to plan in my next turn to put a building right over here. When I'm going to put a building right over here, it's going to, first of all, allow me to advance my green markers on my machine 2 times. And also I will be able to receive a one-time bonus of these 3 victory points. So not such a bad turn, if I may add. Back to Mr. Shwed. Okay, so now Mr. Shwed's turn is going to be a little bit interesting. Pay attention. The first action that he will do is to play a card. Mr. Shwed is going to choose this card to play and is going to put it right here at the bottom slot of our machine. This is a yellow card, which means he's activating the slot module, which will give him 1 book. Okay, so immediately he's going to receive this 1 book. And now it allows him to do trading in the ratio of 1 to 1, which means that he's going to spend 3 resources that he doesn't want in order to get 3 resources that he wants. So he's going to spend all of the 3 books that he has in order to receive 3 gears. Okay, so let's do it right now. Wonderful. The second action that he would like to do is to build a building. Okay, so let's take a look over here on the map. Okay, and we see that this point right here is pretty interesting. So we're going to place a building. First of all, we're going to pay the cost. But if you pay attention, we're going to not build, or more likely, Mr. Shwed is not going to build a small building. He's going to build a big one. So he's going to spend 5 gears and not only 3. When we look over here, we need to calculate the cost of the building. So we already said it's going to be 5 gears. So we've paid it. And now the only thing that is left to do is to pay for the range. So we already said that once we have a figure, and it doesn't matter if it's a building or a population on the board, we're going to start counting for range from that figure. So between this building right here and this area right here, we have range of 1. That means that Mr. Shwed needs to pay 1 food. So there you go, he's going to pay this 1 food. And now he's going to put his big building right over here. The advantage in building a big building instead of a small one is that we're going to get the double bonus from each time we need to advance the machine. Pay attention that it doesn't mean the same thing for lakes, okay? So the first time that I've built next to a lake, I'm only going to receive it 1 time, okay? Even if I'm going to build a second building next to the lake, again, it's only 1 time bonus. But in this case, because we need to advance our trackers on the machine, we're going to advance them 2 times. So let's see what it's going to do on Mr. Shwed's machine. So he's going to advance 1, 2 over here, and 1, 2 with the green, and 2 with the gray. So we've advanced all of them. And this is pretty much interesting because we have revealed some of the reward spaces. So The first thing that we're going to do is going to take all these light blue tokens and put them on our victory point tracker at the left side of our machine. So 1, 2, 3, and I want to show you that on the 5th position of this point tracker, there's actually a small sign of a major artifact, okay? So we're going to look at the big board over here, and Mr. Shwet is going to choose one of the big artifacts. Of course, it will be better if it's something that is going to correspond to his card and to his strategy, but we'll talk about it at the end of his turn, okay? So we've put it right over here. And the next thing that we see that we actually revealed some of these open spaces like with question mark on the machine. This is actually new technologies that we can acquire in order to put on our machine and later to activate. So let's see what we have here on the display. So over here at the display, I don't want to take too much of your time in order to pass all over the iconography. You have everything in the rule book in a very good way, okay? So you have it at the last pages of the rule book. But let's just see a couple of them, okay? Since we have revealed 3 spaces, let's say, to acquire new technologies, we're going to take 3 tokens. So just to make sure that we're talking about the same thing, I want to stand correct about the terminology, okay? So when we have, let's say, a flat space that we revealed, this is actually a standard machine. And when we have this space with a question mark, this is going to be a special machine. So we're going to take a special machine from the display. So over here at the display, let's see a few examples. We have over here, for example, something that makes us advance one of our machine trackers, either the gray, yellow, or green. Here on the yellow row, we have take 1 food and 1 victory point, or something that is going to help us with the range. And so on. Again, the rule book, you'll be able to see all the iconography and understand everything a little bit better. So since we revealed 3 spaces, we're going to take 1 of each color. And every time that you're going to take this special machine, it's very important that you replenish it immediately. Even if you have revealed 2 spaces of special machine, you're going to take 1, reveal the next one, and then take again and again replenish it. So let's take these 3, 1 crystal, 1 this food and victory point, and let's take this one that allows us to play a card on either way. Okay, so I'm going to, Mr. Shwet is going to take these 3 tokens and is going to put it in his machine, and of course don't forget to replenish. So right after Mr. Shwet has put all of his special machine in his big machine, he's going to actually activate one of these special machine. Since this is a free action that he can do to activate, he's going to activate this special machine, and it's going to give him 1 food. So there you go. And also he will be able to advance his meeple on the victory point tracker over here. So 1 more. And that actually concludes Mr. Shwet's turn. One more thing that I forgot for Mr. Shwet's turn actually is the bonus that he has received, and that is to take a major artifact. So let's take 1 moment to talk about that also. In Mr. Shwet's artifact card, okay, for the end of the game, we can see that he has different kind of criteria, okay, for different kind of artifacts. So to be honest, when we're looking at the purple one over here, we can see that it's going to give him more points the more he's going to use his tribe special ability. So he already used it 1 time. He's thinking, maybe this can be a good strategy for me to continue with that. So we're going to take a look again at the big board, and Mr. Shwet is going to pick up one of these purple artifacts. He's going to put it at his area. And very important again to repeat about what is going to trigger the end of the game, and that is the moment a player picked up the last major artifact, okay? After he did that, he's going to take this end of game token, which has 4 victory points, and this is going to end the game. So now will be a good time again to remind us what is going to trigger the end of the game. And that is when a player picked up the last major artifact. This is going to trigger the end game, okay? He's going to take this end of game tile, which is worth 4 victory points. And after that, the other players are going to actually do one more turn. And after that, the game is over and we can summarize the points. And this last turn, if a player actually reaches a position that he needs to take a major artifact, but obviously he can't because we already picked up the last major artifact, he's going to take one of these small artifacts from this pile over here, and each one is worth 2 victory points. I'll be honest with you guys, I don't know why they did like it seems like an excessive amount of small artifacts, but okay. Who am I to judge, right? So there you go, just a small thing regarding the end of the game. I think that the only last thing that we have left to do is to summarize all the points. So obviously I'm not going to continue with this game to show you how it's done, because this is just an explanatory playthrough / tutorials. But let's just go over the things that we need to calculate, okay? So first of all, obviously the victory points that we have acquired during the game over here on this track. That's the first thing. The second thing is we're going to look at the lowest visible place over here at the victory points tracker on our personal machine, and we're going to add that. So for Mr. Schwett, for example, it's going to be, in this case, 7 more victory points, since this is the lowest visible one. The next thing that we will calculate is the player who took this end of game tile, or if another player has taken a minor artifact after that. And we're going to add for that all the bonuses from the artifact card. After that, we're going to look at our tribe area, because for every unlocked technology that we have over here with populating, we're going to achieve victory points also. So in my case over here, I'm going to have 2 more victory points since I have unlocked this technology. And the last thing are the big locations that we have at the corners of the map for the population, that if we reached a population there. So for example, over here, this big location means that we will receive 2 victory points for each energy token that we have. Over here, we're going to receive 2 victory points for each population that we have put on the board. This one means that we will receive 1 victory point for each time we have advanced the gray tracker on our machine, and the same here, but for the green tracker. And that's pretty much about it. This is how we're going to tally all the points and declare the person who has won the game.